I
buy it, so then it goes down the price and we sell it.
Like,
Give me.
here's the thing. You can go on National. Go on to a price.
I'm good.
You
Just
just
left the crust. Oh.
Okay.
oh him continue.
Where's the carbo?
Yeah, you throw it away, my friend. That's the carbo.
It goes with the carbo.
You like the word carbo?
He's gonna help you get 1K slaps and then during it 1K slaps. And then I'm gonna do the basic and it's 100 slaps so I can get the full. Then I'm going to start putting block to help you guys. So like I pulled and you slap.
You guys just go in the triangle formation and just surround people. And just slap.
Yeah, but they don't spawn in the same area.
Yeah, like, I'll just go hit them off. We just hit them around.
No, but the
Yeah, but when you hit them, it's pretty practically going to go past them and then go out of ragdoll mode and they're just gonna hit up. Triangle, same time they get slapped, not only are they gonna get pushed out of the triangle even further, the triangle's also gonna be destroyed. So that is like a very bad idea.
to create a
Yeah.
T, U,
And we're gonna find another.
let's go into a low server, and then I want to slap you guys so I can get united. No, because you're only at 400. I'm at like 800 something.
Yeah.
So if I can,
Let's do the tournament.
if I can slap you guys till like 900,
10-minute tournament.
and then win a tournament, then I'll be at 1K.
Yeah, we're just gonna be pulling them both. We're just gonna be. So you can use the flash glove, and we're both gonna be the 1K one. And then
Oh, wait,
when you
Jason.
pull somebody, he's gonna pull another person, and you slap them.
Let's get Jason. How much are these looking like?
You have like 9.
Let's get Jason 1K and then
Yeah.
get 1K and let Charlie like get up. Because I'm close to he was thinking I'm close.
Like that. The thing is, if we're going to slow server, chances are if they're AFK off the map and they're filming, they're AFK, or they're really open.
We should just go in a big circle.
Yeah. And then,
Get more fun.
yeah.
Let's use like the
And then
black building.
I'll get down.
Alright, guys. What part's this?
I don't.
What part's this? Have you washed your hands? Okay, just know that you were having, like, you have soft spell in your mouth and you were touching your face, so I'll let it slide this once, but if you, like, put your hands in your mouth and like that, you're going to rewash them, okay? You do have, like, soap right here. That works. Okay. As Jesus said this, he was lifted up while they were watching, and a cloud took him out of their sight. They were gazing into heaven as he disappeared. Then lo and behold, 2 men appeared, dressed in white, staying beside them. Galileans, they said. Why are you standing here staring into the heavens? This Jesus, who has been taken from you into heaven, will come back in the same way you saw him go into heaven. Then they went back to Jerusalem from the hill called the Mount of Olives, which is close to Jerusalem, about the distance you could travel on the Sabbath. They here means Peter, John, James, Andrew, Philip, Thomas, Bartholomew, Matthew, James the son of Alphaeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas the son of James, entered the city and went to the upstairs room where they were staying. They all gave themselves single-heartedly to prayer with the woman, including Mary, Jesus' mother, and his brothers. Alright, so Jesus, what did Jesus do? Right, and they were watching him, and the 2 men appeared. And they're like, right? And then they went back to Jerusalem. All these people together, they set themselves to. Here we go. See, Micah is paying attention.
But
No.
wait, is the question again?
So they went back to Jerusalem and set themselves.
Not followed.
That's not it. What were they doing in Jerusalem?
What?
They're praying. They're praying.
God.
They're praying. Right.
Bye, God.
Not praying.
You still got the theme correct.
See what time was on the live stream.
All right. What part's this?
You didn't even finish the last thing.
I did.
No,
Oh.
that other stuff still part of it.
This is commentary.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it.
Easier to see.
Here we go. For your poor eyes, Micah.
Bible.
Just waiting for Micah.
You're all dead.
I'm washing my hair with my phone.
All right.
I didn't say Terry, I said Terry.
Sure. We'll just call it. All right. We were having supper with some friends who had recently moved to Western Canada. So my wife began, "Does Vic ever feel like home?" "It's not home," replied the wife energetically. "It's heaven." "Well, my dear," commented her husband, a theologian, reproachfully and perhaps over piously, "if you knew your business, you will know that heaven is your truly home." "No," she replied. "Home is where there's hard work and hassle and all kinds of difficulties. Here I'm free from all that. This is heaven." I have often pondered that conversation, and I want to take issue.
Yeah.
You want to see how long it is?
Yeah, do it.
No way.
Corey, do it.
No, I'm just gonna zoom in. Alright, so remember we talked about yesterday, like, agitations are increasing because we need to stick to the text. Okay, my friend? Alright. I have often pondered that conversation. So you see what happened? The lady, like, having dinner in Canada, who is from England, they ask her, how does it like being in Canada? She's like, it's like heaven! And then her husband, like, responded, but then here is Tom Wright just thinking about that. I have often pondered that conversation, and I want to take issue with the theologian husband. Though many hymns and prayers, mostly from the 19th and early 20th century, speak of heaven as our home. That isn't how the Bible normally puts it. In the Bible, heaven and earth are the two halves of God's created world. They aren't so much like the two halves of an orange, more or less identical but occupying different space. They're more like the weight of an object and the stuff it's made of, or perhaps the meaning of a flag and the cloth or paper it's made of. Two related ways of looking at the same thing, two different and interlocking dimensions. The one perhaps explain the other. Talking about heaven and earth is a way in the Bible of talking about the fact, as many people and many cultures have perceived to be, that everything in our world, call it earth for the sake of argument, though that can be confusing because that is also the name we give to our particular planet within our particular solar system, whereas earth in the Bible really means the entire cosmos of space, time and matter. It has another dimension, another sort of reality that goes with it as well. You can call this other reality, this other dimension, the inner reality if you like, thinking perhaps of a golf ball which has an outer reality, the hard, molted surface, and an inner reality, the tightly packed, springy interior. But you can just as easily think of Earth as the inner reality, the dense material of the world where we live at the moment, and heaven as the outer reality, the side of our reality that is open to all kinds of other things, to meanings and possibilities which our inner reality, our busy little world of space, time and matter, sometimes seems to exclude. So you're talking about how heaven and earth is. You know how I use the word dimensions a lot? It's kind of like... It's kind of like using a phone and the substance. Like, they're both the same. Yeah.
Especially in my phone.
If these illustrations don't help, leave them to one side and concentrate on the reality. The reality is this: heaven in the Bible is God's space, and earth is our space. Heaven isn't just the happy place where God people go when they die, and it certainly isn't our home if by that you mean, as some Christians sadly have meant, that our eventual destiny is to leave earth altogether and go to heaven instead. God's plan, as we see again and again in the Bible, is for new heaven and new earth, and for them to be joined together in that renewal once and for all. Heaven may well be our temporary home after this present life, but the whole new world, united and transformed, is our eventual destination. So, when someone dies, they will spend, like, their physical body's gone, right? So they'll spend temporarily in the heaven sphere, in the heaven dimension. But the ultimate goal that we are truly waiting for is when heaven and earth are together and we have a resurrected body. A resurrected body, yeah, is both God space and earth space. Heaven space and earth space. Part of the point about Jesus' resurrection is that it was the beginning of precisely that astonishing and world-shattering renewal. It wasn't just that he happened to be alive again, as though by some quirk of previously unsuspected nature, or by some extraordinary miracle in which God did the impossible to show how powerful he was. Death suddenly worked backwards in this particular case. It was rather that because on the cross he had indeed dealt with the main forces of evil, decay and death itself. The creative power of God, no longer thwarted as it had been by human rebellion, could at last burst forth and produce the beginning, the pilot project of that joined up heaven and earth reality which is God's plan for the whole world. This is part, at least, of the explanation of the sheer strangeness of Jesus' risen body, which hints us in all the Easter stories. At the very point where they're explaining that it really is him, that he isn't a ghost, that he can eat and drink just at that moment he appears and disappears at will, it seems as though the first disciple really didn't know what to make of it either, and were simply doing their best to tell it like they had seen it. But once we grasp that heaven and earth mean what they mean in the Bible, and that heaven is not, repeat not, a location within our own cosmos of space, time and matter, situated somewhere up in the sky, up from whose point of view, Europe, Brazil, Australia, then we are ready, or as ready as we'll likely to be. So, he's saying that heaven is not like, you know how sometimes people see heaven as, like, if you just go straight up, like if you die, just go straight up into some sort of cloud land. Like, that's not heaven. Like, that's not a location like that. Then we are ready, or as ready as we're likely to be, to understand the ascension, described here quite simply and briefly by Luke. Neither Luke nor the other early Christians thought Jesus had suddenly become a primitive spaceman, heading off into orbit or beyond, so that if you search throughout the far reaches of what we call space, you would eventually find them. They believe that heaven and earth...
That's right. But I said nether. Like in Minecraft.
They believe that heaven and earth are the two interlocking spheres of God's reality, and that the risen body of Jesus is the first and so far the only object which is fully at home in both and hence in either, anticipating the time when everything will be renewed and joined together. And so, since as T.S. Eliot said, humankind cannot bear very much reality, The new overwhelming reality of a heaven and earth creature will not just yet live in both dimensions together, but will make himself at home within the heavenly dimension for the moment, until the time comes for heaven and earth to be finally renewed and united. At that point, of course, this renewed Jesus himself will be the central figure. That is the point of the event, and its explanation. As we find them in verse 9 through 11, Jesus is lifted up, indicating to the disciples not that he was heading out somewhere beyond the moon, beyond Mars or whatever, but that he was going into God's space, God's dimension. The cloud, as so often in the Bible, is a sign of God's presence. Think of the pillar of clouds and fire as the children of Israel wandered through the desert, or the cloud and smoke that filled the temple when God became suddenly present in a new way. Jesus has gone into God's dimension of reality. We'll be back on the day when that dimension and our present one are brought together once and for all. That promise hangs in the air over the whole of Christian history from that day to this. That is what we mean by the second coming. There are two other things which are, as we say, going on in this passage. Some first century readers would have picked up one of these, some of the others, some perhaps both. First, one of the central Old Testament promises for early Christians was in Daniel 7, where one like a son of man is brought up on the clouds of heaven to the Ancient of Days, and is presented before him and given kingly power over the nations, in particular over the beast, the monsters representing the forces of evil and chaos. For someone who had long pondered that passage, and there are plenty of signs that the early Christians did just that, the story of Jesus' ascension would indicate that Daniel 7 had been fulfilled in a dramatic and unexpected way, with the human figure who had suffered at the hands of the evil powers of the world now being exalted into the very presence of God himself, there to receive kingly power. This fits so well with the previous passage that it's hard to suppose that Luke did not intend it. Second, many of Luke's readers would know, so you hear that? So, we're in Daniel, talking about the Son of Man. It talks about he'll come up like the clouds into the God dimension and you'll have power and dominion over beasts and over evil. Second, many of Luke's readers would know that when a Roman emperor died, it had become customary to declare that someone had seen his soul escaping from his body and going up to heaven. If you go to the top end of the Forum in Rome, stand under the Arch of Titus, and look up, you'll see a carving of the soul of Titus, who was emperor in the 80s of the 1st century, ascending into heaven. This message of this was clear. The emperor was becoming a god, thus enabling his son and his heir to style himself Son of God, which is a youth style if you want to run the world. The parallel is not so close this time, since Luke is clear that it was not Jesus' soul that's in heaven leaving his body behind somewhere, but his whole renewed bodily complete self. But there is then a sense that Jesus is upstaging anything the Roman Empire might imagine for himself. He is the reality and they are the parody. A theme we will notice more than once as Luke's story unfolds, and when at the end of Luke's Gospel the good news of Jesus is being preached in Rome itself. Openly and unhindered, we have a sense of course, that's how it had to be. He is the world's true and rightful king, sharing the very throne and somehow even, so it seems, the identity of the one true God. The first and most important response to this extraordinary, unprecedented, and still hard to describe event is, of course, worship. Luke often tells us about the early Christians devoting themselves to prayer. As we go back with them on this occasion from the Mount Olives to the house where they were staying and look around the room and see these puzzled but exciting men and women, including Jesus' own mother, give themselves to prayer, we ought to feel a strong identification with them. All those who name the name of Jesus, who worship him, who study his word, are called to be people of worship and prayer. Why? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? It's precisely in worship prayer that we, while still on earth, in the sense I've explored already, find ourselves sharing in the life of heaven, which is where Jesus is. So hearing that, so it's in worship and prayer is the moments that we somehow tap into the heaven dimension. The constant references to prayer and acts are a sign that this is how these very ordinary, frequently muddled, deeply human beings, the apostles and the others with them, found that their story was being bound up with the story of what Jesus was continuing to do and to teach. From the ascension onward, the story of Jesus followers takes place in both dimensions. That, by the way, is why there was an inevitable head-on clash with the temple, because the temple was thought to be the key spot where heaven and earth overlapped. The resurrection and ascension of Jesus are launching a claim to the contrary, and Jesus' followers had to work on what that would mean. As we in our own day not only read Acts but try to follow Jesus and witness to his lordship over the world. It is through prayer and worship that we too can know, enjoy, and be energized by the life of heaven, right here on earth, and work out what that will mean in terms of other claims, other lords, other ways of life. Alright, let's start. If you want to stop popping up, maybe you should hit next. But you don't have to. It's with that you could pretty much have auto clicker and macros without.
Oh, I was gonna dinosaur.
What?
What? Ah. But the VIP one.
Yeah, I have 907.
On what? You on big server?
Oh, look, Micah, there's like nobody here.
What are you? Nobody here. How do you get it?
Yeah. So, we'll be using this. Yeah. And then,
Can I do it to you? Yeah.
somebody who's going to save their life.
How do you save their life?
If you jump off the map, if somebody swaps with you, then you fall off the map. But,
How do you swap with them? Is it an ability?
yes,
There's no abilities for this.
that's the.
Well, I have to put my.
Yeah, you have to wait for it. It has a cooldown, Micah.
I know. Do I have to put my cursor on you though?
Thing. What mode I am playing, Micah?
Take that! This should help.
Oh. Come on! Come on!
Yup, now let's go and seal that big keyhole.
Sora, you did it.
I just killed the dude who's doing the Legos.
I have a paladin! Micah.
never meet again, but we'll never forget each other.
No matter where we are, our hearts will bring us together again.
Besides, I couldn't forget you even if I wanted to.
What's that supposed to mean?
Hurry! Come and close the keyhole!
Sora, good luck.
The Oblivion, like a literally it makes me have most fans I would just fan. I literally have a fighter build. Like I started as a magic build, but at the end I went full damage. Down, Seppi! Take Hades down!
Sit! Nothing to it!
He clicked skip. He skipped the ad, my friend. Like on the top, on the right side. He's trying to look up. He's looking up something for his slap game.
Take that! Take that!
Just give up, it'll be easy. Take that! Is that Come on! Gonna hurt.
Nothing to it. Come on! This should help. Oh yeah!
Let's go.
Behemoth. Ooh. They're a big thing.
Heal! This is it! Take that! Come on! Wind!
What's that?
Heal! Come on! Come on! Nothing to it!
Woo, got Blazooka.
Fire! This is it! Come on! Nothing to it! Heal! That's the power of the Keyblade! Heal! Take that! Wind! Heal! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Take that! Nothing to it. Come on! That's the power of the Keyblade! This should help. Defense! Heal! Heal!
More? Gosh, wait, not there.
Come on! Heal! Nothing to it!
Lazy
Take that!
How do you
At the moment, I'll say yes. Yeah, well, I'm saying that the only thing you've seen is sharks and crabs. At this moment, I'll say yes.
Nothing to it!
Guys, I can't join. I need
Nothing to it!
Heal! Come on! Heal! Heal!
They're very focused. They're very focused.
Nothing to it. Come on!
One more.
That's the best you can do?
Heal! Come on! This should help.
That's the best you can do?
Heal!
It's over!
Here!
It's over!
Win!
Yup!
Come on! Take that!
Yup! It's over!
Farewell.
It's over!
This should help.
Yup! Get this!
Heal!
Yup!
Come on!
It's over! Get this!
Come on! Heal!
It's over!
Keep going.
Power! It's over!
Heal!
Yup!
No way. I can lose.
How much more is there?
Really not bad, huh?
Heal! Heal! Come on! That's the power of the Keyblade! Heal! Ha! 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 That's the power of the Keyblade!
Yo, hey, how you doing, everybody? Yeah, got a minute? Hades, Lord of the Dead, nice to see you. Hey, guess what? I got a place
Thief freeze!
Feel the heat. warmed up here.
Feel the heat.
Heal.
Hey, you having fun yet?
That's it. That's it.
Heal.
That's it. That's it.
It's starting to get warmed up here.
Come on.
Hey,
Feel the heat.
Heal.
hey, you having fun yet?
That's it. That's it. This isn't happening.
That's goodbye. Right?
Now it flashes makes it come to darkness.
Hey, what are you doing? Stop. Hey, guys, get away from me.
Come on. This should help. Come on. Heal. Come on. Nothing to it. See ya. Deep freeze. Deep freeze. Nothing to it.
That's the power of the Keyblade!
Well, it's because it's out of fairness. So actually, Charlie, do you feel like it's fair that Jason can message too? Okay, then I'm going to ask you no more messaging while here, okay? For the time here.
Heal! Heal! Nothing to it! Take that! This is it! Come on! Take that! This is it!
Micah, I'm going to ask, Micah, look at me. I want to ask to disable that account so that you can no longer be chatting, okay?
This is it! Heal! Come on! This is it! Heal! Come on!
Okay, we're in 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What the?
Take that! Heal! 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 Take that! This is it! Heal! Heal!
Building?
Alright, in 12 minutes, my friends, we're going to take a break set before your media.
Nothing to it!
Micah, Jason, you hear what I said? Jason, you hear what I said?
We're the champs!
Trinity limit. What's the Trinity limit? Got a lot there, so okay, I got a new blade. Lion bark. Enhances. Oh, so it's a really good damage and magic. That is tempting. This is what I was want. This is what I'm currently wanting. Is it its own game, or is it part of Sci-Fi? Alright guys, in 10 minutes, we have to take a break stop.
Take that! That's the power of the Keyblade! This is it! This is it! Come on! Take that! Take that! This should help. Nothing to it. Nothing to it.
Just give up now!
Come on!
This one.
Come on!
Talk this out. Whew, this is great!
Come on! Heal!
These up!
Take that!
Let's talk this out.
Heal! Nothing to it!
Alright guys, in 3 minutes we gotta take a break step. Does autoclicker help in this?
You can just like click a little bit back.
It kind of has like a cooldown kind of ordeal.
I wonder who's in.
Grandma, we're getting mail. Hey, Grandma, mail.
Now look.
Yeah, guys. Michael.
I'm just kidding.
request, Mike, and then we just don't say it all, okay?
Yeah, you're stuck. Just come on.
Heal! 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 Heal!
You know what? Today, I'll leave it to. Oh wait, the card. Alright, once you pass out and get kicked off the portal area, my question is.
Heal! Ha! Ha! Heal! This should help. Come on! This should This should help.
Ooh, holy sweats on the stick. Just how high it is.